Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Ynot and Gamfvr here on Metalopolis. This is game 1 in a best of 5 series taken from the King of the Hill tournament. Top 200 players from America, randomly, or all of them are eligible to play in the tournament, and now we have Gamfvr spawning here as the yellow Terran player. Meanwhile, we have Ynot spawning as the pink Protoss. So pink Protoss versus yellow Terran here on Metalopolis should be a pretty interesting matchup. I'm looking forward to this best of 5 series. Now we have Ynot at this 8 o'clock position, getting the standard pylon pretty much at the 9 time, and now we'll be moving out to scout. Couple of things to note in this particular matchup. I'm assuming that the Protoss player will most likely go for the one gateway into the assimilator and cybernetics core build, even though the Terran player has been changed, or the Terran build orders have been changed just a little bit in that you require a supply depot before a barracks. I think it is still too risky for a Protoss player to not get that early stalker to try to deal with that scouting SCV and that early Reaper. However, I have seen Protoss players go for a 2-gate, and that it wouldn't surprise me too much if Ynot, actually no, it would surprise me a lot if Ynot actually went for a 2-gate build instead of getting an assimilator. We do see the barracks now currently being erected by Gamfvr, and now the game is underway. Both sides scouting in the opposite directions, not knowing that it is a semi-ally, no, not an ally spawn. Excuse me, getting all of my terms mixed up today. It is a close spawn, however the walking distance will be quite far, and this one Xel'Naga watchtower will come into effect. So whoever controls this one Xel'Naga watchtower will have a lot of sight, being able to see these two starting locations very easily, and by gaining view on the starting location and also the main walkway between these two bases. Now in comes this probe. The probe did arrive a little bit late, so that's lucky for Gamfvr. Gamfvr currently with one refinery up, but only has one SCV on it so far, finally transferring 2 more, one of them a little gung-ho, even carrying minerals straight in that refinery, and now those minerals are lost forever in that refinery somewhere tucked away in that back corner. We do see the probe now wandering around on the inside of the base, trying to get as much sight as possible. Meanwhile, into the base, we already see an SCV coming in, so we see that SCV coming in the SCV coming in, and the thing that Gamfvr really needs to be careful about, or need to keep track of, is how much gas his opponent is currently harvesting, and he sees that there are no probes currently harvesting out of this position here, and now the SCV taking some damage. Back over here, we now see 2 Marines trying to chase down this one probe already down to 2 hit points, and there it goes. Finally, this SCV making its way back out, and both sides only running off of 1 gas so far. So both sides realizing that they want to get additional minerals as quickly as possible. SCV coming back in, realizing that he did not see if this refinery was currently being placed down, and now the SCV coming into this position, making sure that there are not any additional tech buildings being placed down here. So no hidden Twilight Council, no hidden robotics facility, and now this SCV will be able to move out and return home. These 4 Marines are here to try to offer some protection, and now a bunker being placed down. So Gamfvr trying to use this bunker here. Any SCVs that try to come up, or any stalkers that try to come into this position, will be forced to sit here before they're able to start shooting any of these buildings, just because of the line of sight onto the high ground, and because of that, those stalkers will have a very, very difficult time. We do see the Marines now moving out to try to take down the Mink statue. One of the things a Terran player should do, and there is also 1 stalker moving around, so 1 stalker now trying to fight back against a group of Marines. That stalker does have rechargeable shields, and those Marines move a little bit more slowly, so these Marines will be taking some damage, and now you see the Marines quickly jumping into that bunker, and now a tech lab being placed. We do also see a starport already coming in, so Gamfvr getting a factory and now lifting it off into the base, and now going to try to hide it. I do believe that he does not know about this one factory that's sitting here, and it's going to start training Hellions. So training Hellions straight into the base, and normally this would not work all too well, because normally I would see factories being laid into this position here, but why not with the scouting pylon here? But no scouting pylon here, will be forced to take some damage. So 1 probe now making its way out. Hopefully this one Hellion will not reveal it. And does this one probe be able to gain sight here? So taking a look, we do see that this one SCV able to activate this Naga watchtower into this location. I do not believe it gains sight onto that high ground, and now some stalkers gonna make their way onto this ramp here and take down that scouting SCV. SCV will be taking some damage, and oh, a Hellion getting a little bit of splash damage off, quickly revealing himself, and now going after this probe. It will be able to trap this one probe here, and getting a good amount of damage. So Gamfvr getting also a couple of quick kills, 2 kills already, and now going after more of those units. 2 Hellions now into the base. He kind of let the cat out of the bag in this whole entire rush here in trying to get some of these probes up, but more probes getting killed. So very nicely done by Gamfvr. Gamfvr getting a lot of probe kills, and now Ynot severely hurt in his economy. So nicely done with this factory here. This factory will be forced to lift off and try to run back home in just a moment, as this Hellion will be able to push in and try to get some more damage onto those probes once again. However, we already see a Banshee now coming into play, so that one Banshee will be able to start racking up those kills just as well. Already getting, what, 2 kills, and continuing to get more and more kills. And now Ynot does not know what to do, being forced to pull back with this Banshee here. Gamefvr now pulling away with that Banshee, trying to rack up as many kills as possible. Now going after that one Sentry. Sentry now down to 11 hit points, and now you can see that the Banshee is getting back up onto that high ground, making it very difficult for those Stalkers to try to get underneath it. That Banshee, however, getting Cloak at just the right time. Nicely done. And now, because Ynot expanded early instead of getting that robotics facility early enough, there are no observers. However, quickly decloaking for some reason, that was a mistake. Yeah, that had to have been a mistake. No real reason to decloak there. And now this one factory scouting into this position here outside of the range of Ynot. So some economic damage was done. Taking a look, Ynot down to 23 harvesters compared to the 27 harvesters for Gamefvr and that one mule. So that mule will be giving him a very, very strong economy. However, Gamefvr needs to set up this command center and lift it off and replace it down here. Otherwise, he will be fall behind economically speaking. Ynot now double training probes out of these 2 nexuses and also getting an observer so that Banshee harassment will not nearly be as effective as it once was. We do see, however, now a tech switch into Marauders and Marines. I really like this play. We also have 1 Raven in the air, so that 1 Raven will also have enough for point defense drones and with enough Marines support to try to shoot that observer out of the sky. This game is really, really highly in favor of Gamefvr at this time. We do see 1 observer now moving into the base here, and I do not believe there are any missile turrets in the base of Gamefvr. So without any missile turrets, Ynot getting some critical scouting information. Factory has re-landed, but no tech lab being added, meaning that there will not be any siege tanks, and he's just going to try to win this game with Marauders, Marines, and this 1 Raven. So Gamefvr now pushing out with this attack here, and you can take a look at the army, 1450 versus 1275. However, there are a couple sentries now being warped in as well, now trying to take down this statue. Not quite sure why. Willie does not like Minx over here as these Marines now moving out. However, the stim pack research has not yet been completed. We do see 1 Raven here, so that 1 Raven will quickly be able to gain sight onto that 1 observer, and down it goes. And now Marines and Marauders are going to start taking on some of these pylons. 1 point defense drone now in the air, and those sentries really need to focus down that point defense drone. Otherwise, this fight's going to go really, really poorly. More and more, all the point defense drone now out of energy as this fight continues. Marines now trying to focus down more and more of these units. However, stim pack has not yet been researched, and the medevac has been taken down. So this whole entire attack by Gamefvr will be neutralized as an army of stalkers and sentries able to push off that attack. Really nicely done by Ynot. Ynot making sure to shoot the medevac out of the air, making it so that any of those Marauders and Marines would not be healed up. And now you can see that Raven and these Hellions retreating once again. 925 army for Ynot. Gamefvr down to 850. Also, Ynot does not have that many probes over here. Taking a look at the unit count, 27 harvesters compared to 34. Command center already upgrading into an orbital command as Gamefvr retreats back into his base a little bit in order to try to regroup. However, Ynot now expanding, and I like this play by Ynot. Ynot expanding to this high yield mineral location, and if he's able to hold on to this, we'll be able to catch up in a hurry. He is already chrono boosting, trying to get more and more probes out. He is currently supply locked, and however, at 60 over 60, should be warping in some additional pylons, but no, finally getting another pylon there. So he will be continuing to be supply locked for at least another 20 game seconds as this fight continues. We see a Marine now just moving around, and now more barracks being placed down. The Protoss player either needs to go for Colossi or needs to go for Templars at this stage, and now with the Twilight Council, it looks as though he's trying to go for Templars. So no Colossi in this fight. We do see 1 observer in the air, a lot of sentries on the ground. So with all those sentries, he will be able to cast a lot of force fields and try to split up that Terran army. Also with that Guardian Shield offers an additional 2 armor against those Marines. So those Marines will essentially be dealing only 4 damage in attack, which severely limits the amount of damage they will be dealing. So an observer in the air, stalkers on the ground, just on patrol, constantly moving, does not want to be stationary for them to accidentally get picked off. We do see more and more probes being transferred over here. Unit wise, now 38 harvesters. As you see, Ynot starting to train some probes over here at the high yield mineral location. And taking a look at the harvester count, you can see 1560 for Gamfvr, just because he does not have natural saturation here, as one Banshee coming into the base here. This Banshee dealing a lot of damage. However, Observer needs to get on top of that Banshee. Banshee able to barely pull back, and now going to get shot down. There it goes. So a waste of minerals once again. That will only sending in one Banshee. However, we do see an army of Marauders and Marines once again moving out. But I think that Gamfvr will actually lose this whole entire attacking force. He's kind of splitting up his units a little bit too much, and a lot of these units are just going to constantly be caught out of position. Oh, there we go. Finally deciding to move all these into a ball, but there's only one medevac in the air. And with only one medevac, he will not be able to deal that much damage. He does see that there is a nexus over here, so not quite sure why he is not trying to go for the easy target there as he's moving out with these Marines and Marauders, instead going for the army. We do see another point defense drone in the air. Mass force fields coming in. A lot of those Marauders and Marines unable to do any fighting. There's only one point defense drone, and that defense drone has already been depleted on energy. We do see the sentries now continuing the fight, and with only one medevac in the air, this army is just taking way too much damage, and the stalkers will be able to just continue to focus down more of these units here. And obviously he does not like the statue as well, and now giving chase to these Marauders and these Marauders down over here. The Marauders do have stim, but I do not know why they are not stimming and trying to kite some of these Zealots. Yeah, some of those Zealots now will be taken down as we have another Raven, the Raven once again joining on this fight, another force field now coming into play. So these Marauders have nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and down they go once again. So yeah, Gamfvr losing that attacking force. We now see High Templar Psystorm being trained. We should probably see some High Templars join or being warped in as well in order to get more and more gas. Ynot needs to get these additional assimilators down quickly in order to be able to keep up his High Templar count, as Ynot is now going into a third base. We also see Gamfvr going into a Ynot going into a fourth base, while Gamfvr is now going into a third base down over here. So Gamfvr doing placing down another command center here. Perhaps we'll upgrade it to a planetary fortress. I don't understand why he didn't take this location here and upgrade it to a planetary fortress. That would have been a very, very strong attack. In comes Gamfvr, however, with 3 Marauders and 2 Marines. We'll quickly see this Templar archives, and instead going for the Twilight Council. Not quite sure why. Instead of dropping these, needs to drop some of those Marauders, and there we go. Now going after some of those units here, going after that Twilight Council as it is currently researching. However, Stalkers now going to be coming into position here, and now getting a feedback onto that medevac. That medevac is now pretty much useless, and now even beyond useless, dead, as a fully loaded medevac now taken down. However, a good job by Gamfvr using that distractionary tactic in order to push out with these Marauders and Marines and clean up this expansion here. So this expansion, all the probes have been transferred, however, so the expensive side of that expansion already on the move, and now losing this nexus. However, it is now 3 bases between Ynot and Gamfvr. Gamfvr is now transferring some SCVs over to this location. Harvester count, both sides even at about 1,000. 2 medevacs in the air. Marauders and Marines do have level 1 weapons upgrade. However, Zealot Charge now also being researched, so those Zealots will be able to move much more quickly, much more naturally. Also, we have an Archon in play. Not quite sure why he warped in an Archon just quite yet. I think 2 High Templars with a Psystorm each would have been much more successful, as more Marines and Marauders now come in once again, gonna take down that Twilight Council. I do not know if the Zealot research has been finished. No, it has not been. Has been finished, as these Ynot now coming in with Marines and Marauders. All of these units need to get into that medevac and now pull away. However, the medevac now getting shot down by one of those Stalkers will be down to 85 hit points, and it looks as though that Stalker will not be able to catch up. And I believe the Stalker does not have Blink, so Blink was not researched, and neither was Zealot Charge. However, Marauders now on the low ground, firing up onto that high ground. So Gamefvr doing a good job of just constantly splitting the forces, and now Gamefvr able to push back with a really strong army and force the GG. So very nicely done. I'm gonna replay that just a little bit, just because I missed that whole entire fight. So now we see another army coming in, both sides fairly even so far. An Archon trying to fight in onto that high ground, and then because all of these zealots are unable to get within attacking distance, and also no Psy Storms were cast, the game was over. So I believe there was 1 or 2 High Templars that had enough energy for a Psy Storm. I believe if he had Psy Stormed on top of this very tightly packed group of units that had force fields so that they didn't have any room to retreat, Ynot would have won. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between Ynot and Gamefvr here on Metalopolis.